Today I'm going to show you how to go into your preferences in Sage Intacct. You can get there a couple of different ways. One way is through your name at the top right. You can click on it and you'll see you can go right into your preferences. Or you can go into Applications, Company, My Preferences. In here, the first section, you'll see the general information. Your name and email address are required, but the phone and address are optional, but you have the option to put those in there right here. Next section, the security preferences. These are your timeouts. You have the inactivity duration logout and the session duration logout here. The inactivity duration logout has a maximum of 4 hours. So if you're inactive for 4 hours, the system will automatically log you out. And the session duration logout at 10 hours, if I were in here working, at that 10-hour mark, it's going to pop up a window and tell me the system is about to log out. So I have a minute or a second to save any changes I've made, but it will log me out at that 10-hour mark. Throughout Sage Intacct, you will notice these question marks that are a really handy resource they've provided. So if you click on that question mark in the different areas, it gives you a little more information regarding that area. So you'll see this is the session timeouts, and it gives you some information on both of those, as well as an example here. And then if you wanted to learn more about setting your personal preferences, you could click here and dig a little deeper as well. Also, the help and support that's provided to you all over the system. You click there and you always can find help on this page. It'll give you more information on the entire page you're on, or the help center. You can go there and choose to get information on a broader level as well. If you ever had to change your email address when you log into Sage Intacct, then you would do that here. In the email notification section, you can set up your email signature here. And again, got those question marks you can pop into and it'll tell you what that's about. You can also choose what email notifications you want to receive from the system here. So if you have stored reports that are generated and available, it can email you that. Receive checklist notifications. Recurring transactions fail. If you have recurring transactions set up and one of them fails, you can choose to have an email sent to you when that happens. You can choose to have your request for approval sent to you, and you can choose which ones here. Or you can choose to have approvals you've requested, and when those get approved, you can have those sent to you through email as well. You can have your email notifications sent to you individually or in a consolidated email, so that's where you would choose that here. The on-screen messages, best practice, this is a default setting that we highly encourage you keep. The warn on unsaved changes and the warn on delete. So if you've made changes to an area you're in and you went to leave that page and you did not save those changes, it will warn you if this box is checked that those changes have not been saved if you would like to save them. And then again, it will warn you on when you press the delete button in any area, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to delete? And you can select OK to follow through with the process, but it will allow you that second guess if you need it. The display personal appearance. This is when you log into Sage Intacct where you start. So as you see, we have it set up on the default. So that's the default Sage Intacct home screen that we currently see when we get in. But you can choose that to go, when you log into the system, to go to any of these different areas. A fan favorite, I would say, would be the dashboard. So you can choose when you log into Sage Intacct to take you directly to your dashboard, and then you can select which dashboard here. You can also choose your entity colors as well. Here on the menu navigation, we have it set to click, so you can click into the different areas that you want. If I wanted to go into projects and I click here, or you can choose that hover. So if I were to hover over something, then for so long, then it's going to automatically go into it if I had that selected. The menu order, so that is this here. On a personal level, maybe you would like to have it in a different order for workflow purposes to be more efficient for you. You can do that here by choosing Use My Own Order. And then this only does it for your personal environment that you're in, not on a company level. So then if you decided that's what you wanted to do, you just hover over which one that you would like to move, and then you can drag and drop it wherever you'd like. Once you save and refresh, you'll see your menu items have changed into the order that you had specified. Personal page defaults, again, use these little question marks to help you understand the different areas that you're in. But we do recommend on the records per page, that's how many records you see. Like, I'll give you an example. In our general ledger accounts, if I only had it set to 20, I would only see 20, and then I would have to page over to the next 20, page over to the next 20, but I have ours set on the 999, and I only have 154 accounts, so here I can see them all on the same and scroll to them. And if I did have 1,000 on here, and I didn't want to scroll all the way to the bottom of 1,000, I still have other ways I can search that as well. And then the other one that we really recommend is the rows per page. We keep that on max. It makes it easier, again, just workflow wise. Personal interactive behavior. These are just personal preferences that you can choose. Display layout in the new user. That's just a default Sage that we recommend, but you can choose however to your workflow. Personalized split view, and I'll show you an example of that, but we have ours set on enable split view and show split view on page load. So I'll show you that example in my bills. Here you see I have an attachment document on this bill. So I'm going to view that, and because I have my split view on, and I also have it set up when I open the transaction, you'll see it automatically opens this with my split view and see in my bill because I have those selected. If I did not have enable split view selected, then this would not be here. And when I selected to see my attachment, it would just pop up this PDF on a different screen. And I also have the split view on page load already, because if I didn't have that turned on, then if I selected this and I had my split view on, it would just pop up once I selected that. So again, that's a user preference on that function. Personalize the platform and customization services, this is currently on the light mode as you see, but you could choose that dark mode if you prefer that. Check preferences. This is important to know where this lives. This is in your personal preferences, and you do have to set this up accordingly to the printer that you're using, but this is where you do that and you make those save changes and it lives here. If you ever need to change it or change printers and you need to adjust it, you would do that here on each individual personal preference page. So you can upload the signature here. And then you can also do the horizontal vertical offsets, so you can move them left to right or up and down. And you can play with it and get it as precisely as you can by every time you make one of these changes. Let's say you had a change and you've got it just where you need it. You don't know if that's correct or not. You would do the save, refresh, and print check preview to see if it's where you would like it. So that's where you make those adjustments in the system. Then the general preferences here, you choose the language and time zone of where you're working out of. Those are important. Time format, date format are user preferences. Another thing I wanted to talk about, the Salesforce and warehouse, if you have inventory, the supplies or Salesforce. So you would know more about those if you did have those. We would go into that. No need to do it right here when we're just doing a broader view on the preferences. But the select list type to display after posting a converted transaction here, I'm going to talk about that for a second. That is if you are converting a purchase order into, say, an invoice, and you wanted to go to the next step of that. So if I have, like currently I have transaction list for the converted transaction type. Once I change that purchase order into an invoice, it's going to take me to the next workflow of the invoice. If I had this one selected and I changed my purchase order into an invoice, then it's going to take me back to the purchase order selection if I had this ticked on here. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is the user preference section that I wanted to just quickly talk about today. Thank you for listening.